like to call to order the Landmarks Commission meeting for July 24th, 2023. Time is 7 p.m. Roll call, please.
David Craycraft.
Here.
Pete Lynch.
Here.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Here.
Roger White here. Whit Wardell.
Here.
I'd like to make a motion that we excuse Linda Boving and Rich Dobda from the meeting for tonight.
I'll second.
Roll call, Pete Lynch.
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Roger White, yes. Whit Wardell.
Yes.
David Craycraft.
Yes.
Can I get an approval of minutes for the June 26, 2023 Commission meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the June 26th meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
David Craycraft.
Yes.
Pete Lynch.
Yes.
Roger White, yes. Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
With the first applicant not being here yet, I'll skip ahead this evening. Bear with me. Starting with application CA 23-026, address is 77 West Columbus Street. The applicant this evening is requesting approval for a new asphalt shingle roof. This residential home was constructed around 1870. This home was built after the prior home burnt to the ground in 1868. The applicant is seeking approval to replace the existing 3-tab asphalt shingles with a new GAF dimensional asphalt shingle in the color charcoal black. Up on the screen, a photograph of the front of the home, the Washington side of the home showing the color of the shingles. This home was recently painted a year or two ago to the blue and black color that's on the screen. With the new property owner, the applicant's looking to change out the shingles from the kind of orangish red that's up there to the charcoal dimensional color. Any questions from the applicant? I think the contractor for the property is here as well to answer any questions you guys have.
Is the applicant present? Would you mind stepping up to the podium here? Please sign in and state your name.
Michael Stauffer.
We're just talking the house. There's no garage on the property that's getting roofed as well?
Correct.
You're going to retain the current gutters and downspouts?
No.
What are you going to do?
Are they currently the strapped on gutter straps?
I don't know. You've been up there.
No, I have not. Sorry, one of our project managers has, and so if they're gutter straps, they will be rehung with straps rather than wedges.
So the gutters will stay on there?
Correct.
They'll just be hung differently?
No,
correct?
They'll be hung the same way. Yep.
I mean, but it's not new gutters and downspouts, it's
Correct.
existing?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you planning on removing the existing shingles?
Yes, all the way down to the decking.
Okay.
Yep.
And then what, probably just replace any rotted sheathing or anything like that?
New ice and water, synthetic felt. Yep.
Okay.
Any further questions? I'd like to make a motion that we approve application CA-23-026 as presented.
I'll second.
Roll call, David Craycraft.
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Roger White, yes. Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Pete Lynch.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next application on tonight's agenda is CA 23-027. Address is 132 West Columbus Street. The applicant is requesting approval for new windows in association with a kitchen remodel and a addition to the porch at the rear of the kitchen. Up on the screen is a photograph of the subject property. This home was constructed around 1858. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1989. This property has not been before the Landmarks Commission for approval before. Up on the screen, this area in the wood siding is the kitchen area that the applicant is looking to have a remodel. With the remodel, they're looking to alter some of the window locations and sizes. Moving around to the back here, you can see the covered rear porch. With this project, the applicant is also looking to expand the decking area of the porch, but leave the roof section unaltered. Also with the project, this window is going to change. You'll see in the drawings provided by the architect, as well as the rear door is proposed to be modified as well. When looking at the drawings here, you can see that the two windows on the north elevation are being relocated. There is a pair of windows that are going approximately a location where the far left one is here. This right window is being relocated to the corner. It is going to be a double hung window noted to match the rest of the windows on the home. When looking at the rear porch expansion here, you can see the applicant is looking to extend it out wider than the existing location, both to the north and to the west. Wrapping around to the rear of the elevation here, you can see the new windows the applicant's proposing for that remodel, the kitchen. Again, the porch is expanding out further to the side of the home here to the north. And then again, the applicant notes the door they're wanting to install the rear elevation as well. As some three-dimensional drawings have been provided, these drawings show the expansion of the porch area. These drawings don't really do a good job of showing that roofed structure that will be floating kind of in this zone here. So just reference the other photos for that information. When looking at the door the applicant is looking to install, there is a sample photograph here showing it would be a simulated divided light, and that the windows are a 200 tilt series double hung window with a simulated divided light as well to match the rest on the home. Any questions for me? We've got to help answer. Architect and applicants are there to answer questions you all have.
Hi, I'm Carol Del Grasso.
I'm Mike Del Grasso.
Hello.
I was Dave Craycraft.
Nice to meet
You
you.
know, one thing I want to add is that since I submitted these drawings, we're going to not put a railing on the deck. Per code, you don't need the railing, so we're just not going to use it.
That existing wood siding, do you have enough of the existing that you're going to use, or are you putting new siding on?
We feel that we are going to repurpose as much as we can and match it back with existing cedar shake.
Okay.
So I think we could get close. I do like the cement fiberboard, but I think it's a little bit better to maintain the look.
But you're planning on using the wood.
Yeah.
Color staying the same?
Yeah, so far, we don't have any need to change, but, you know, projects are early. We might be back.
There's some wood on the rear that we'll take off too,
Okay.
repurpose to put on the side. I mean, but it's not gonna look like a hodgepodge
No,
of trying to fix it. It'll look like it was meant to be the way it was ultimately.
yeah.
We have the same cedar shingle on the other side of the house as well, so we really are interested in maintaining that.
Plus, we took that off initially and then re-sheeted that with cedar as well, so. You have to watch where you're sourcing it. Western cedar tends to be a little bit more like that cedar. The local stuff from, I think Lowe's and Menards doesn't look as good, but we're gonna get the quality to replace it.
Is it like a flat circle sawn shake versus a raised grain? It looks pretty flat.
It is flat, yeah, yeah.
Now, let's just say they wanted to go with party shades. I mean, that's something we'll have to come back and get approval for.
Unless you decide you want to do it now. You'd have to do it all.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really see any reason to do
Okay.
that. I believe that the house, money would be best served probably looking at restoring for the third time the box gutters, putting in wider downspout to keep the critters out that have been living there since about 1850. You know, we just can't get rid of it. It'll be the third time Carol and I have done it. But we've always brought it back to its historically significant perspective, you know, not getting away with box gutters. We restored those, the last roof, rebuilt the cupola, and we'll probably be back to Andrew with some maintenance that needs to be done in those areas to match in.
I did want to make one, I think it may have been the ad that we had of the windows. Our intention is to add true divided light, not the simulated.
Yeah, I was up on that.
Anderson has so many revs. We're sourcing this from Kime lumber. So then, you know, a lot of that type of varnish, we can order it all and deliver it. And they have some pretty good sourcing of product.
So Dave, when we're talking true divided light,
Well, I was
is
just
it,
gonna ask that.
is it true divided, is it really true divided light or a simulated divided light?
That's good. That's a good question.
Okay.
There are so many variations. Okay, they have, you know, argon gas and nitrogen and all that stuff. I guess if you pay enough, anything could be made from that Anderson window.
Your intention is to replace with a true divided light or simulated
We
light?
would like to have it close, yeah. It needs to, you know, be representative of what the windows already are, and dimension-wise, we can get almost dead on with the windows.
And these are full wood windows?
They are, the 200 series is full wood window, wood interior. I don't know, Peter, to be honest with you, if it's aluminum clad on the exterior or painted. Comes in different variations. The existing windows are painted, and then they're they're painted wood, and then they're the old probably 50s version of what a stone window would be.
So if we're switching from wood to aluminum clad, we would need to know a color.
It
So,
would, yeah, it would be to match the existing windows, which would probably be almond, I believe, for my best description. of
Just
that.
as long as they match the windows?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It's an option in the 200, 300, 400 series. But our intent is to pick whatever series matches most closely the windows that exist.
It looks like by raising the windows up, we're going to lose that raised panel detail that's on there. And the back, that becomes a door, so there's no way to maintain that, correct?
Oh, you're talking about those,
Yeah, it looks like
looks
you're-
like they covered mistakes initially.
Well, there
I
were
didn't-
probably
I didn't-
old
I did not
windows
do that.
there, yeah.
Sure.
It looks like everything's being bumped up, so
Yes,
there's no
yeah.
need for that.
It is.
And what is the header on the larger window? Is all of that's going to be just 1x8, Dave?
Mhm.
Okay.
Similar in size to the lintels over the, you know, the limestone lintels over the windows.
Now, will that paint scheme match the stone headers on the rest of the windows in the house, or are you just going to keep all that monotone in the
I
back?
thought it'd be monotone.
Okay.
Not a bad thought, though. We didn't think. We're just overwhelmed trying to get contractors and pricing and things like that. Paint is probably the least of what we thought about. But yeah, we could match the lentils with a similar color.
So the existing roof that's off the back door, looks like it already encompasses that, the deck encompasses that space, you're just taking that up and enlarging it.
Exactly, yeah.
It's pretty shaded, there's no reason to really,
The
The roof
intent,
structure will remain as is, and it
Yeah.
won't be expanded.
correct.
the intent's to celebrate the tree, you know, which is quite nice. It's a indigenous oak, Ohio. So it's really nice to set under and then be able to walk out the deck and see through. It's really compartmentalized right now, the way it is. So we had moved the bathroom that was in there. I think we permitted that before the pandemic, and then it made way to open up that whole space.
Your drawing here that you're seeing there shows the increased size of the deck or porch, but on your picture, it shows the access to the basement, and the drawing shows a step going towards that.
Hey, Roger, the step just juts out where it can to not impede the opening of the basement,
Cellar
Okay.
door.
the cellar doors.
And we're dealing with existing
Right.
landscaping features back there. This is a little bit better than plan view. So what we're trying to do is not dilute that entrance and egress way to the basement.
It's just right there, okay. Thank you.
What's the decking material gonna be?
I believe 5 to
I've
5.5.
got,
What did we spec there?
It says 1x3 here,
1x3 tongue and groove, either wood or
Okay.
composite.
so it won't be spaced decking.
I'll let her-
It'll be tongue and groove, not spaced decking.
It'll be tongue and groove.
What is that rear door made of? Is it fiberglass?
Wood.
Is it wood?
Wood plank.
Okay.
I think it's just wood planks.
It is, yeah.
Okay. And that'll be stained?
Yeah, stained or painted. Our front door presently is green right now, the original door.
Yeah, and it matches that door presently.
Andrew, that last slide that you had there that showed, it actually said simulated divided light on it. Am I-
Mayor?
Yeah,
Oh, here it is, it is here. Does anyone else have any questions?
So we know we're going to do simulated divided lines, or the wish is to do true divided lines?
we had looked at the true divided light when we were at the county,
Okay.
and really, that's
Okay.
my preference.
I think we would be fine either way, as long as it's divided light, not between the glass.
As long as it matches.
Sure.
Okay.
You might find a,
You know, it's difficult to say because I think maybe what the obstacle would be is getting them in a timely manner in 2023. You know,
sure.
if we go too extreme, we might not be able to source it. Things have been, they're tough nowadays to get in.
I would like to make a motion that we approve application CA-23-027 with the following conditions: that there is to be no railing, that we will be reusing the wood shake siding and replacing any new with matching. Windows are to have true divided light or simulated divided light, and either wood or aluminum clad as long as the color matches the existing windows. And the decking is to be 1x3 tongue and groove, not 6-inch space decking. Sound good?
Sounds good?
All right.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Pete Lynch,
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly,
Yes.
Roger White, yes, Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Andrew, should I ask the
Well, you can
presenter,
ask me and I'm gonna say I abstain.
David Craycraft.
Abstain.
All right, thank you.
Thank you much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Who seconded that? I'm sorry.
Scott, Dr. Haley.
Thank you. I was writing down these conditions.
Have a good evening.
You as well.
The next application on tonight's agenda is CA 23-028. The address of subject property is 33 West Columbus Street. The applicant is requesting approval to construct a new fence on the western property line. Up on the screen is a photograph of the subject home. This house was constructed in 1918. This home was constructed on this lot when the log cabin that is on the south side of Liberty Street was moved to its current location. This property, from what I can find, has not been before the Landmarks Commission for approval before. The applicant is requesting approval to construct a new fence on the western property line. The fence location from this photograph here would be from the back edge of the sidewalk back to the end of these evergreen trees for a rough frame of reference. Kind of another zoomed in view here, you can see the area where the applicant is looking to construct the fence. The applicant has put together several options for consideration this evening. There are two different style options and essentially two different location options for the commission to review. When looking at the first set of style options here, the applicant had asked staff what they thought would be an appropriate fence design given its location. This is what I provided to the applicant with a double-sided privacy fence, has decorative, has decorative paneling, caps on the top on both the shorter 3-foot section as the fence juts out past the front of the home. I added this line work here for a second horizontal band bar to match this example photograph here of the more decorative picket, semi-private in the front. When looking at the location, again on the west property line, a 6-foot section from the pine trees until it hits about the front porch area, and then we'll taper down to a 3-foot section within the front of the home. When looking at style option number 2, the applicant put together this version here, which is a more simplified version of what I had put together. The top is a standard 6-foot dog ear privacy fence, and then the bottom is a 3-foot dog ear picket fence. Again, same location on the western property line. When looking at the two alternatives for location spacing, if you follow the red line here, this would be a 6-foot section, taper down to 3, and then a 3-foot section in the front. The applicant has noted in their application they would like the alternative to do just these areas that are noted as a gap. So to do a 6-foot section, have a break in the fence, another 6-foot section, a break in the fence, and then a 3-foot section in the front. These breaks and starts and stops of the fence are being requested because of the existing kind of landscaping within the area. Concerned with putting the fence up in proximity to the existing landscaping. If there's any questions for me, I've got to help answer. Applicant is here to answer any questions you guys have.
Hello. Allison Sayer. So we were able to talk to a contractor today, and they said that we would be able to do, we didn't have to do segments with the tree line. They said they would be able to go through the roots and do the whole length of the property, which is our preference.
So there wouldn't be that space between the gaps on each end, is that what you're saying?
Right, it would start at the back of the property and go all the way to the front of the house and then taper down. They said they were able to basically keep the trees. We would have to clear some of the shrubs that kind of jut into the neighbor's yard and possibly some branches from the trees, but we would be able to maintain all the trees, which is
As for the first style versus the second, do you have a preference?
Financially, we would like the second option, just because the first one is.
The second
a lot more
option being
expensive.
this,
No, that's the first option, and then,
Or
so option
this.
2, no.
I have
the one
them
that's
labeled
up
on the
the
screen,
screen.
Yeah.
Dave.
That's option 2.
okay.
I have them labeled on the screen, and then the staff report, the statements are labeled as well.
Do you know if any of your neighbors have a fence that looks anything like these?
So our neighbors on the other side, so 27 West Columbus, maybe, I don't know their address, but they just got approval for a fence just like that one, but it's in their backyard. And then we currently have like probably a 10-foot fence that looks like that in between our house and the neighbors on the other side, on the east side of us.
So Pete, this.
That's the same.
This house right here has a 6-foot dog ear privacy.
Looks like option 2?
Right.
Correct. The school has a 6-foot dog ear, but there's a semi-private, it's more like a picket with a 2-inch, 3-inch gap around their playground. And then 91 here, Liberty, this back fence line, is also a dog ear picket style.
It's chain link.
This one right back here.
Yeah, it's the old chain link fence, and then same with the back of our property, it's chain link, and then Abby's yard's chain link.
Because that's the neighbor's fence?
Right. Yeah, the one that goes in between our backyards, back there behind the garage. So kind of, yeah.
So where you're talking about doing a transition and sloping down, will that sloped section be the tighter, taller dog-eared style versus the breaks and the slats?
So where it tapers?
Yes.
Yeah, so that would be just like that, the second option. Like it would be, yeah, it would taper like that.
So it would taper and be close together and then turn
Right.
into the spacing.
Do you think it needs to be tapered versus just butted in?
I mean, personally, I like the gaps, but this is your property.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
you mean
could- I
do-
think you could almost gap it rather than taper it.
Okay.
I think it's probably gonna look better if you're
Okay.
not concerned about, I mean, something could just go around.
Yeah.
And it's gonna get through there. I think it would look better than the taper.
Okay.
Just leaving a gap in that section.
The primary reason for the fence is aesthetics and civil issues. So we would like it to be
Connected.
continuous if we
Okay.
could. But I guess aesthetically, I'd have to see what you're talking about. I'm not sure.
What do you all think of a gap, you know, a slope transition versus just bringing the shorter fence in?
Well, they'd have to have longer pickets than the bottom photo. So they'd have to have the longer pickets to bring it down. I think it would look awkward to do that.
I think I would just bring it in straight.
Just butt it up.
Yeah, that's,
Right.
just butted in.
You okay with that?
So it wouldn't taper, it would just go.
Correct, yep.
Okay,
Right.
gotcha. Yeah, that's fine with us.
The nice side will face the neighbors. The
Right.
post will be inside.
Right.
And I'm painting it or anything stained
I
or
think stain would be our.
just like natural stain?
Yeah.
But doesn't option 1, this one, have the same look on both sides?
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Yeah, but they don't, she prefer the second option.
It's, I think that the first option aesthetically is my preference, but I think it's like double the cost is the.
Well, I guess what I was getting at, I like option 1 too.
Yeah.
I think it's a little more elegant looking and would, I'm not opposed to option 2, but I just prefer option.
Oh, I agree aesthetically.
But you're paying for it.
Right.
Well, the rest
The
of the
fence
rest
that's-
of the fences seem to be the second style.
Yeah, and the fence that's between us and the other neighbors, we just kind of put together that that was our fence and that needs replaced. It's kind of old and it looks like option 2. So I was gonna ask since that's already existing, if we went ahead and just repaired that, do we need to get a second application for repairing that segment?
It's this same style, as
Right.
long as you're not changing the style.
Okay, Yeah, so that was.
Is that correct, Andrew?
Yeah, you can do maintenance without,
Okay, as long as it's pre-existing.
correct.
Okay,
And you, I mean, you could replace it all as long as you're replacing it like for like as well.
Okay.
Beyond just maintenance.
okay.
What side are the boards on the other section facing?
The other neighbors, so that's why we always thought it was theirs, and then I was like, well, no, the other side's facing our yard, so that must be our-
So this interior framing is facing your yard?
facing our yard, right. Yeah, it just kind of runs between our side yard and their driveway. It's probably
Is it
12
this?
feet.
Right here? or
No, to the right, yep, right there.
Right there?
And they just put that same type of fencing around their whole backyard. It's a 6-foot privacy fence all the way around.
So is the
And
wood
the
gonna
yellow
be
house
cedar
there.
or
green
pressure
now,
treated?
I'm sorry?
Is the wood gonna be cedar or pressure treated?
They quoted us for cedar, so I think we'll probably go with the cedar based on the price.
Okay.
We just like the cedar wood, but,
Good.
yeah.
Allison, is this the section you're talking about right here?
Right, yep. Yeah, and it's just kind of old and rotten, so we may just have them go ahead and replace that segment too if we can with the same.
And I think Dr. Kelly asked us, you're just gonna do a clear sealer? No-
Correct.
No color stain? Would anyone care to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve application CA-23-028 with the exception that the transition will be butted into the larger fence and not angled.
Okay.
Did you want to
And then we
do,
were choosing option 2 as far as the dog-eared
Yeah.
style.
Now, my husband, when they were over today, they quoted us for the cedar, which I assume is the option 2. But if option 1 is not as costly as we think that it would be, are both options open? Or do we have to lock in our answer?
Well, Pete, I think you mentioned that most of the fences in the area really look like option 2,
Correct.
right?
But I'm
Yeah.
not opposed to option 1.
I wouldn't be opposed to her doing it.
Okay,
So if you go option 1, then the section on the left of your house,
would be the same.
so you
Okay,
would do that to the same.
okay.
Would we need, can we approve that now as long as it's,
so just to confirm, this section that's existing, if you do option 1, you would change the other side to match? You're okay with that?
Most likely, yeah.
That'd be fine. As long as she said it and I
Yeah.
got in the meeting, that's all I
Yeah.
needed, so.
Yeah, it'll come down to cost, and when we've had it quoted before, it was significantly more expensive for option 1, so I'm guessing we'll go with 2, but if one's financially doable, we might go ahead and do that.
So David, you'd have to put that into the motion.
Let me start over.
Sorry.
before you start, let me ask a question. If you went option 1,
Yeah,
I guess where did the shorter 3-foot fence style come from?
I think just Andrew had sent us options or different,
Okay.
yeah,
And you
aesthetics.
like
that-
those two things together?
Right,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, well, the bottom one, no, because it's got the spacing in it. I'd like it to be solid, just so there's no gaps.
Okay, so with option 2, where you have gaps, you want
The
those
top
close
one.
together also?
Is the bottom one what the shorter segment would be?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Correct.
gotcha. So, yeah, if we can't do solid for the shorter portion, then, yeah, then it would be 2, and then the bottom part for the shorter portion.
Yeah, so the bottom has to be picketed.
Right.
Because it's in our front yard.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, it has to have spacing.
okay, gotcha.
Okay, Dave, so I think we're approving either option 1 or 2, but sealed natural framing facing the applicant's yard. I'll let you run with it.
I'll make a motion to approve application CA-23-028 with the following clarifications, that the transition piece will not be angled, but will be butted into the adjoining fence. That in option 2, the framing will be exposed to the owner's side. But the owner also has the option to go with option 1 if it's financially feasible.
Okay, sounds good.
Can we go ahead, Andrew, and approve that short section on the left side of the house if she chooses to match it up?
Yeah, I think that's fine to be added into this,
All right.
this discussion.
I will second that motion.
Roll call, David Craycraft.
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Pete Lynch.
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Roger White, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. The next application on tonight's agenda is CA 23-029. Address is 23 West Oak Street. The applicant is requesting approval this evening for a new metal roof and new exterior doors on the subject property. Up on the screen is a photograph of the subject home. This home was constructed in 1890. This property, from what I can find, besides general maintenance and getting approval to do a detached garage from the Planning and Zoning Commission in the 90s, has not been before the Landmarks Commission for approval. The applicant, or the property owner, was sent a notice of violation on July 7th for exterior work done to the residential home without approval from the Landmarks Commission. From staff's review, the work consisted of a new metal roof, paint, and exterior doors. The applicant filed the application this evening after receiving the letter from the city. The statements the applicant has put in here describe the work that was done. Also, a photograph was provided of the condition of the exterior home upon purchase. The applicant has provided details for the roof and exterior doors that were added. For the roofing itself, the applicant installed a M-panel metal roofing system. The M-panel description and cut sheet is available here in the lower right-hand corner. A photograph of what that looks like on the home today compared to what was on the home upon purchase. And then looking at the exterior doors that are on the home, the applicant put in this new door on the front elevation. Cut sheets are provided for that door. A new solid man door provided on this side of the building to the east. And then this rear door facing the alley, this is kind of up and over the fences in the rear yard facing the west. If there's any questions from the commission, I'll be glad to help answer. Applicant is here to answer any questions you guys have.
Did you do anything to the windows?
No, we didn't change the windows
Okay,
or the shutters.
okay.
Just painted the
Other
shutter.
than paint, yes, sir.
Was that hexagonal window in the rear there in the previous home?
Yes, yeah, we didn't make any changes whatsoever to the windows. We didn't add, subtract, or swap windows.
Can you tell us, do you have any photos, or can you tell us what the previous doors were?
Prior to the work, we don't have any photos of the exterior other than basically this one. And this one is more recent than what was on the Otter site in Google Street View, which were the only other photos that were available.
And did we have any previous photos that show what the historic door might have looked like on this house?
I do back at my office, the photo from 2019 of this door. I will say, this photo kind of shows, but there was a screen door that is in front of it. Screen doors tend to obscure my shot, where you can only see the screen door. I do know that this window pane that was up here was on the previous photo that I have.
The transom?
Correct. This door on this elevation, I do not believe existed before. I think this siding was either the door was sided over or the door that was there was, it didn't have a handle. There was no handle, there was no indentation, the door existed. So it was either sided over and they reopened it up. Cause this framing piece, I know in the photo I have, it looks like this, and it looked just like a T111 kind of in that location. I don't have any photos of
If I
this
remember
third door.
correctly, that door that you're showing there, I believe was boarded up for security with just moldy plywood.
So is that a new door, or is that just what was exposed once you tore all the?
That's a new door. There was an opening there, but it was just boarded over with
Okay.
plywood.
And what are those, sir? Are those steel doors, or are they fiberglass?
Yeah, those are steel doors.
Steel insulated door?
Yes.
New gutters?
No, just
Same
just
gutters?
painted them.
Are they all K-style, or is there some rounds, half rounds in there? It's hard to tell.
From all the photos I've seen and when I went out, they're okay.
Andrew, do we, have we approved any visible fastener standing seam roofs on residents, to your knowledge? I know there's a couple barns that we have permitted.
I will say I've never heard of an M panel roofing until this one was submitted.
I'm not familiar with that either.
It looks like a hybrid between a corrugated with maybe a smaller run between the peaks. And you're correct, you can see the fasteners in this photo here. I did look at the roof that is in this photo and the photos I have. I couldn't tell if there are any fasteners, but this to me didn't look like a standing seam. It looked like something a little more agricultural style. I wasn't sure what this one was. The house next door does not have the exposed fasteners, but the metal material looks close to this. There's just not the waviness in between the ribs.
That Ceramistar coating that's on there, that's kind of like the crinkle finish. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a texture almost. We chose that M panel because it most closely resembled the roof that was on there of the choices from the building supply house.
Is it just the main gabled section? What's the front porch?
I believe the porch is actually just standard shingles.
Asphalt?
Yes, asphalt shingles.
Same in the rear.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can show those guys.
I pulled the property up on the Franklin County Auditor's website, and it's got some pictures. I think you can just, but I don't know if there's any like alley side pictures.
Screen door makes it tough to see.
Is that where the door was?
Yeah, that's on, I think that was it, or it was on the other side. That's here. So you can see that from the front.
I'm trying to pull the auditor's website up for you guys.
You see nothing? So were you present on this when the doors were taken off? Do you have any idea what was there before?
I wasn't present when the actual doors were, are you talking about the side and the rear
Yeah, the
door?
traditional front door. All we can really tell is it had a decorative screen door.
Screen door. This one might show. I don't know if you already saw this, Mike. Can you see that's from the auditor site, it's a little bit larger photo.
Looks like you can see the, must be open. You can see the pictures on the wall.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it looks like it must be
Oh,
open.
those
Unless-
were, yeah,
maybe
you're
that,
right.
maybe
Sorry,
that
I
is.
thought those were, like wood panels.
I
or
think
some
you're
sort.
actually correct.
I found the door.
I think they are. Does it have two big raised panels?
Oh, no, those are picture frames inside the house.
Are you sure? I thought
No.
that at first, so the more I look at it, it looks like a raised panel layer.
I'm not sure.
Here, we're looking at the same.
So that screen door that's on in this photo, is that most recent? Because that's different than what was on the auditor's site.
I mean, the house looks nice.
Maybe that was replaced prior.
He's already
You can see the white door there?
Mm-hmm.
And then here, this looks like it has already been replaced.
Look at, what's that, 2 square windows? Is that
Are
just
the-
inset in that door?
It's hard to say. To me, it looks like raised panels.
Mm-hmm, yeah, yeah,
Two, it's probably a 3 panel.
yeah.
I just can't see the bottom one. Are the shutters still on the front porch?
Mm-hmm, they just painted them black.
Yeah.
My problem with this is the non-traditional standing seam roof. Again, I can't think, and I actually drove around for about 45 minutes today before I came in and just looked at everything I can remember being on application. I can't find a single residence, with the exception of the barn on Mound Street that was built a couple years ago, the green one. So it's
What do you
down-
mean on the alley?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's one on the barn, behind Bob Wood's office there, the red barn, but nothing on a house. Also, this, the door that's visible from the street side, kind of in the left-hand side of this picture, which you can't see, looks like it was replaced with a steel 6-panel door. It is a raised panel as far as style goes. My concerns are the roof and the front door that was replaced.
The door is, I'm sure it's different from what was on there before, but like I mentioned before, the only reason we just chose the roof because it was almost the same as what was there before.
It is similar, but it is not a true standing seam, which is what we typically require here.
It's
Cindy.
more of a red. It's
Sorry?
more of a red,
Well, it has striations.
yeah.
I mean, we can get a true standing seam with striations as
Mhm.
well, but not visible fasters on a main historic street.
Andrew, I have a question for you. Is it required that a permit be pulled for a roof, some type of construction permit?
Yeah, we do roof permits for residential homes. We do 2 inspections, one to make sure all the ice guards and any sheeting that's going to go on the roof before is up, and then a final inspection, basically to make sure there's nothing hanging off, everything, it looks buttoned up.
So there was no permit pulled for this?
No, there was no permit pulled for the roof.
What recommendations could we give him for a front door?
Typically, we have a up-to-date photo of what's there.
Right.
And try to replace something with like for like as much as possible. This is not a traditional style. It's more of
Not
a, you
having
say, a
something to go by.
craftsman
Mhm.
style.
what's our options?
I think I can deal with the front door. Again, my problem was the roof. I think this sets a precedent for
Futures.
others to do the same thing. Unfortunately, I know you're not aware, this was in a historic district.
Yeah.
It's not the front porch or the rear, though, it's just the main part of the house, correct?
Correct.
Okay, make sure I got that straight.
So would we recommend we don't approve the roof?
Unless we make an agreement that that's remediated. It's something that you can handle here. I don't see approving it with visible fasteners.
Mm-hmm.
So we could approve this with the condition that the standing seam section of the roof be replaced. I don't know if anyone's interested in changing the doors out, but to me, the roof is the big deal here.
I do think it sets precedent for us that we don't want to set.
And just for clarity for the applicant too, they can either approve with the conditions for the modifications to put it into compliance, or you can request for it to be tabled to look at other roofing options and bring something back, or find better, take better photos, show how, what the other roof looked like, if you find any more information on that. And that's always an alternative. I know in this instance, you're looking to turn the keys over to someone else, so I don't know if that time works against you, but I just want to make sure you are aware of that process.
Okay. So if we got better photos of this roof, is that what you were suggesting? Is it possible that that would be?
It's
No,
something.
If we showed more detail?
I think the previous roof is what we would be looking for.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have any. I asked neighbors, prior owner, looked online, nobody seems to have any better photos of the roof.
I don't know, the auditor site sometimes has overhead shots that they've taken, and they go back 20 years. You might want to take a look at that, but I don't know if you can blow them up enough to get the detail.
Yeah, I'm on the auditor's site right now, they don't have any overhead, it's just the,
They don't show aerials? Previous years?
wait, aerial photos.
I'm looking right now, Roger, and by the time you zoom in that
Yeah,
far.
by the time you zoom in,
Yeah, there's
you
no
lose all
detail.
detail.
Yeah. It just shows from way above, the outline of the lot itself.
So Andrew, just to be sure here, we either make a motion to approve with the condition that the roof be replaced with a true standing seam, or we can table this and you can bring back some options of what style exactly that you want. We have allowed standing seam with striations, and it doesn't have to be a flat panel, although that's what most people put in here.
I would just make.
That's going to delay for 30 days.
Well, I'm just thinking I would just want to make sure I see a sample of what you'd want to switch it out to make
Yeah.
sure that was right before another roof goes on.
Was there, if there's I guess I don't really have a strong preference, so is there a specific spec or model that you can provide me that?
I have a sample in my office I can give you
Okay.
before the end of this evening if you need it. It's a single lock, 12-inch on center standing seam roof panel.
Shorter rib and 1-inch rib.
Yes.
It's the lesser expensive rather than the commercial grade.
So it sounds like we should make a motion to approve everything except the roof, because I mean, that would help him on his timeline, right?
Not tabling, but.
Yeah, not tabling it.
It doesn't do much for the roof. I mean,
No, but he would have to come back
if he's
next
wanting
month.
to get it placed quickly to make the sale,
Yeah,
he's probably going to want us to.
Yeah, it's
see what
in
he needs.
contract, they've delayed their closing, they're probably gonna have to terminate the contract at this point, but it is what it is. And I don't, because I think the buyer has a move-out situation in a prior home, but I'll just have to see what they can do.
So rather than table, you'd rather us make a
Yeah.
motion to what we want you to replace it with?
Sure.
You're fine with that? Is it black? Everything's
It's black.
right? So I think what Andrew has is the most economical option. Once you step up to a 14-inch, it goes to a thicker gauge and almost a commercial roof. So I think that's probably the recommendation.
Okay.
Can you tell me what the verbiage was that you said there again?
I have, the sample I have is a single lock, standing seam metal roof panel.
Is that one that they're rolling on site typically, not a pre-order? Do you know?
I can grab it real fast if you want to give me a minute.
Does anyone have a preference? So that, what do they call it? The Ceramistar is similar to what they call a crinkle finish. It's just, it's a texture that gives it a dulled look, so it's not glossy.
shiny.
Yeah. Is that what you prefer?
Does it look something like this? Does that look, because
Yes.
I just searched for,
Yep, so those have the striations in the middle, or you can do a flat panel. Sometimes a oil can, depending on.
I'm trying to see the difference, I guess, between that. Like, I see the striations, but when you said that it can be smooth in the middle, that's what that looks like to me.
Right, but you have visible fasteners. That's a hidden fastener system. And we typically don't do screw downs in historic or preservation district. That looks like it. That's what happened. Got two that I gave one away. Yeah, so a snap lock.
Okay.
See it. That's probably 16, it looks like.
So it would be either the least expensive one, whether it's this or the ones with striations?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not
As long as it has
concerned about
hidden fasteners.
I mean, I'd be fine with a 12 to 16-inch exposure. That's what you already have as well. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve application CA-23-029 with the following condition, that the existing M-panel metal roof be replaced with a 12 to 16-inch single lock true standing seam in the color black.
I'll second.
Roll call,
Second was
please.
by Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yep.
Roll call, David Craycraft.
Yes.
Pete Lynch.
Yes.
Roger White, yes. Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes,
Who seconded that?
I did.
Dr. Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
The last application on tonight's agenda is CA 23-030. Address is 92 East Waterloo Street. The applicant is requesting approval to add railing to the existing rear porch and balcony. Up on the screen is a photograph of the subject home. This residential home was constructed around 1890. The property was put on the National Register in 1989. The applicant is requesting approval to put a railing on this rear porch and then redo the railing on the upper balcony area on the subject home. Applicant has provided information that they want to add a series of 4x4 posts, one in the middle between the two support columns on the left-hand side, one just offset from the middle on the right-hand side by the steps, two against the house, so that way the railing will tie into the post and not into the siding. And then they have a decorative cap element they want to put on those 4x4 posts. The railing itself will be made out of wood. For the balcony area, they're looking to add new 4x4s. Excuse me, these are existing 4x4s. Add the new railing, but add the caps to the existing 4x4s for the balcony. All this is proposed to be painted the same off-white as the rest of the trim on the home. To try to help you guys out this evening and to practice my skills a little bit here, I photoshopped what the railing would look like to give you guys a perspective in terms of roughly the same color and scale of where and what the applicant's looking to do.
There's currently no railing on the lower porch?
Correct.
So the upper deck, the structure, you won't touch the structure. You're just adding a new railing.
Basically, I'm, excuse me, trying to make it safer. The reason for the slats and all that is so that if there's a little kid going out there, they're not gonna fall through it. That's never been that way before. That second floor, there used to be external stairs going up because at one point it was an apartment up there. And termites had gotten to those wooden steps, so I took those down.
Okay.
So you've already removed the flooring on the second floor?
It's off right now. It's in my basement. It's been painted and it's ready to go back down.
What is that material? Is it?
Wood.
Okay.
2x8s, I believe, on that.
Okay.
Well, I think, well, there is a code for spacing of railings also, and it's one that's, you can't.
These are 4 inches, which is this.
Well, I'd make sure it's a little less than 4 inches. You can't be able to push a 4-inch ball through it.
Correct.
The rail that I'm planning to buy, presumably you folks approve it, actually has notches in there for the slats to fit into, so it's all pre-done.
So this is just a kit, and you're just putting it together?
Yeah, basically, those photos are from Menards.
Okay.
So I'll either do Menards or Home Depot, one of the two probably. And the reason for the wood and all that as opposed to going to some other material is everything has to be cut to fit properly. That back porch on the first level is somewhat of an odd. That's the reason for the 4x4s going in. I want everything evenly spaced so that it looks proper.
Andrew, can we see that picture of the existing? So the 4x4 is going in. How are you planning to anchor those to your concrete, sir? Using a post bracket?
They are metal things that you basically drill into the concrete.
The post sits down in it.
Yeah.
So it'll be exposed. You'll see it. Looks like they're already on the taller posts there. Something of the sort.
What's on there now is concrete.
It's just setting up off the ground.
concrete, yes.
Probably.
I hadn't planned to do that. That's why if you look at this, the black metal rail, that when we put that in, we actually drilled into the concrete, and I don't know the right terminology, but they expand, and those things are very solid.
Sure.
A 300-pound person can fall against them and it's not going anywhere.
Simpson makes some good brackets that have a 1-inch standoff on the bottom. So when you set your post down, it keeps it off the deck.
And that's where I'm at.
It lasts 10 times longer. Just same concept as your concrete extensions there.
Are you doing anything to the, it looks like a black railing?
That's all. Oh, that, no, I was gonna leave that.
Your posts that you're installing on the bottom, they're going to be 36 inches high.
Correct.
Then your railings are going to fit into these posts.
If I'm understanding you, that's
Yes.
correct.
And then you're going to put a cap on top of the
Just on the
post.
4x4 posts.
Okay, are they going to extend much above the railing or just very short? Okay.
So your existing posts are 6x6s, and you're going to keep those 4x4s, and they won't be wrapped with anything?
I hadn't planned to. If you think that's essential, I can do it. I just I'm doing this myself, so.
Sorry, Andrew, can I see that, your rendering with the rail?
By the way, Andrew does a great job with that.
I did talk to the applicant about wrapping the 4x4s. The issue is then the decorative caps don't fit.
Right, I was thinking of that as well. I don't think it looks bad with the 4x4s.
So from the top of the slab to the top of the rail will be 36 inches. And then the post will be a little higher than that.
If we elevate them like we're talking about here, it's probably going to be a little bit more than 36 inches. Because we're talking about a steel, or some sort of a metal thing, to elevate them was just a little bit. So if you're talking strictly from the slab up, it'd probably be 37, 38
Okay.
inches.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
This is trick.
Anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve application CA-23-030.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Pete Lynch,
Yes.
Roger White, yes. David Craycraft.
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Good luck, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, appreciate it.
Did you want to talk about the concrete tonight or no?
If I could for a moment, that'd be
Okay.
great.
So for old and new business, well, I was working with Mr. John's application for the railing here. He brought to my attention that he's looking to have the foundation stone on the whole house or just the front?
Where it's needed right now is basically in the front porch area. It's the front porch itself is about 100 blocks.
So the foundation stone on the front porch is going to be totally replaced with all new block. The block that's there, all the faces have started to fall off, getting soft.
So they were a split-faced concrete block?
Yeah, you can
Are they
see,
molded or?
They were molded.
you can
I
see in
thought they
this
were
photo,
molded.
Pete,
Okay.
this is
They've got some dimension to it, they're not flat.
that's what they look like on the front as well.
Okay.
So he was talking to me about having a future application of replacing this with new split face, but, was having issues with finding something that matched exactly without it being custom. And he said he wanted to come here to see if you guys had any guidance for him, on that. And then part of it also, in his repairs to the front, these brick columns, all the brick has also started to disintegrate. So he was looking to remove both of these in a future application with the block as well. Didn't know if you guys had any feedback. This is the only brick on the home, is these two entry details as well. Is that a good summary for you?
We're talking about removing those altogether.
Right, the face on most of those bricks, and I have photos with me if that helps any. Basically, the face is just
Spalling.
deteriorating.
What is the cap on it? Is it concrete or
It's
stone?
concrete and that's deteriorating as well.
So right now, it looks like you have some kind of maybe Fortin iron rail in the center. Would you replace those with two new rails?
Well,
On the
I mean,
outside?
I can.
It's the same rail
idea
as
would be-
this.
It's the same rail as you see on the back. I was going to put another rail on the other side so
Okay.
that you have plenty of support there. But if you need a different rail than that, I can do that.
I think a matching rail would be fine. They probably just both need to be, looks like that one's shoved over against the right side maybe,
Right.
so they might have to be reset one way or
And
another.
that's, if I needed, I didn't know I needed permission or something like that. But, my wife and I are in our 70s and she needs help getting up the roof. So that's the reason that went in.
Andrew, do we have any history of that? I almost wonder if those were original.
The block?
Well, not so much the block, but the brick
So,
side.
me and Mr. John were talking about this, and he has, if you want to pass on those photos, we looked at kind of how they tied into the concrete, and through looking at the rest of the house, I don't feel they're original. Just because the context doesn't make sense with the rest of the home. Mr. John said before he bought it, it was either before he bought it or the person before him, it was a duplex. So someone converted it. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was more than 2 units and this was like the commercial entry into the facility.
If I may, Andrew, those bricks, the whole thing's only about this high. So from a safety point of view, I'm concerned about it. It's something that the kids love to jump on, and I don't like that. We have a 6-year-old granddaughter living with us, so.
Power just went out.
Did it?
Yeah,
Real quick?
all the battery backup just kicked on, I heard it.
Okay. I've got a question with the concrete foundation, the blocks. I'd say as long as you did something fairly close, but you're just thinking about replacing the porch, the blocking of the porch, right?
At this point, yes, sir.
But it looks like the block foundation wall goes all the way around the house, right?
It does. It's poured wall underground, but as far as the above ground, it's the same type of block all the way around. And I'll be honest with you, all the way around is starting to deteriorate.
Looks like your porch is, your concrete slabs falling apart as well.
And that's part of what I want to do. I can't do it this year, but hopefully next year, is to do the block and the slab at the same time.
Okay.
It's a project that I'm not going to tackle because we've got to basically jack that thing up.
Sure. Yeah,
Make sure it doesn't go anywhere.
Substantial amount of work there.
Yeah, and it's not cheap.
No.
So,
My only concern I don't necessarily have a problem with removing the brick around the front steps. My concern is how that's going to affect the rest. So I'm assuming you probably have to do the porch and the stairs are going to have to be repoured?
Yeah,
Okay.
remove the steps, put brand new concrete steps in, that's the idea.
Build right over top of it, which also tells me that that's not original. I like the look of the Fortin iron rails on it. I think that's right. That's the job.
Do you guys have any recommendations where he can look for block?
The split face block, the best prices by far are Menards. And they have quite a few different color choices.
Yeah, the only problem with that split face, it's not exactly what's on there now.
Okay.
And I would take
haven't seen anything anywhere that's like what I have on there. That's concerned. Now, eventually, they're probably all going to have to be replaced all the way around. In this black back corner right there, and not there, the other, yeah, it's starting to go. If you go on the other side of the steps, it's starting to go pretty bad. So it doesn't show in that photo.
Is that the only alternative, is just replace all those blocks? I mean, if they're just deteriorating, I don't know what else you could do to them.
I'm looking for ideas, believe me.
Well, it's a really, if it was mine, I would rip the slab off and extend everything out and add a wall in the front, just to not have to jack the entire porch up, because that's where the major cost is gonna come from.
Make the
Keep
porch.
that wall there, make the porch deeper, and just push everything out a little bit on the slab side, so that you don't have to tear all that out. So once you tear everything out, it's gonna be pretty tough to support all that wing of your columns.
It's going to be done in sections.
But plus you've got the roof, you've got a second story on the back you're supporting.
I mean, there's a lot of weight
Yeah.
going on.
So you're actually saying that extend the concrete.
I'm not sure how it would look.
Well, that's-
It'll stick out a little ways, but.
You know, right now, we're talking the front porch, right? Okay, right now, on each of those columns, there's a separate concrete slab.
Under
Yes.
each one?
Under each one. And
Oh, I can see
what
it.
they were gonna
Yeah,
do is keep
see
that
it
the
there.
same.
Oh, yeah.
Take out, jackhammer out the rest of it,
Leave that in place?
and leave those in place.
That's
And
great.
then the contractor I talked to, which is a separate contractor, but these guys have worked together before, is to do one section at a time. And I'm not sure how they plan to.
I just wonder if those piers are setting on piers or just a wall, foundation wall. Hopefully their piers are just going
I
down.
bet it's wall and is there access to under that porch or is it support, it's probably backfilled?
You know,
That's good.
and they're concerned,
That's good. That's what makes
the reason the porch is cracking so bad is they're concerned that they just backfill with dirt.
Mm.
And that, we've been in the house 38 years, and it was starting to crack when we moved in, so. But again,
What do you think if it's hard to match that old split face, that stuff's pretty old. That was probably from the 70s or
Yeah, you
even
almost have to
before,
just
so
do
it
like
could be
close as
even
you
older
can
than
get.
that.
Close as you can get.
Yeah, I mean, you've got some vegetation to kind of break up the
But
corner.
knowing that you're probably gonna do the rest of the
Right.
foundation.
Is it falling apart all the way around the house?
started to. I mean, it's not, the front and that back corner, on this photo here, the left-hand back corner is the worst. And that would be part of the same, in fact, that back corner I may have replaced yet this year.
Almost wondered if it'd be cheaper to, you could almost veneer it with those sandstone. Those 1 inch thick cut actually sandstone, but they're 1 inch thick and they're chipped.
Is it a structural issue or just aesthetics?
Aesthetics right now. If we can do
Right
something
now.
to preserve it, that,
They make a decorative sandstone to match an old sandstone foundation. They're about 1 inch thick, it's real stone, but they're all chipped, but you could possibly veneer it. It's not my specialty, but being that it's only that thick, if you could maybe dig down and pour a little bit of a footer in front of the existing, or even catch, there's probably, the footer should stick out, and then you could catch that weight and veneer it.
if we could do something like that, that would be.
Then you're only, then you'll have to extend your concrete, 2 inches to overhang it a little bit.
That'd be cheaper.
Well, I mean, you're almost talking having to kind of underpin and rip that block out. It's not just the face.
Or is that basement under the,
No, sir. Where the front door is and those windows, the basement wall is right there.
okay, so there is a basement, like that side door that faces Trine Street?
That goes into a landing, it goes up
Go
a
up,
few
or you go
stairs, and
down.
also down to the basement.
Okay, what's the inside of the block? Your basement walls, what do they look like?
Wood concrete.
It's poured concrete and then block on the outside.
I'm-
Face block.
I'm gonna guess that the basement walls started to do this and
Hard
they
shit.
re-poured the inside.
I have no idea.
That's basically what they're saying to do on the outside, is add something on the outside too, to basically sandwich.
So those poured concrete walls aren't going anywhere, are they?
No. And if the basement's dry, we have had no problems with that. It just,
So it might be just an aesthetic thing? Instead of having an exposed foundation wall, poured wall, maybe they veneered something to it.
It's possible. I've never seen it.
no, inside the house or in the basement, you don't see any of the thing. I don't think I see a block. I'm so used to it that I.
Hard to tell.
See, my
It's not
house,
something I look at, sorry.
my house has poured basement walls, but what they did on the exterior is they took a trowel and did something decorative around the whole house, just to make it look like it wasn't poured concrete walls.
Well, does that give you a good
Well,
feedback?
I appreciate it very much. What I'm trying to figure out is if I can take your idea, excuse my voice, and do something like that, that would be great.
Yeah, I would talk to a couple masons and see, typically your wall should be sitting on a footer. You're supposed to have 4 inches sticking out. So that weight of a veneer stone should be able to set all the way down to that footer. Depending on how far down, if you got a basement, you'd have to go an awful long way. So sometimes you could set us.
Another footer be put in or something.
Yeah, it's difficult. A lot of times they'll actually set like a steel ledge a powder coated steel edge that you set something on, kinda like if you're doing a heavy veneer brick, which might certainly be better than.
You know, you might want to take an inconspicuous place and just do some minor chipping just to see how thick. What we think might be a block might be something that's a lot less thick. Maybe it is a veneer, but I think I would just do some investigation.
They're 8 by 16 by 8. The one person I had out looking at.
Okay.
indicated.
Sounds like they'll probably replace 2 block wide at a time, all the way down below grade, let that set up, move over and do the same.
But with him
thing.
saying that the walls are poured concrete,
In the basement,
yeah,
yeah.
maybe
So
they
under-
parged it to
underground.
look like poured
That's what I was
concrete.
thinking, yes, mine's all been parged. Of course, it's all falling off.
Yeah, maybe they did parge it.
All right.
No,
Hope that helps a little bit.
Are you a contractor?
I am.
Would you be willing to take a look at it?
I could look at it for you and point you in the right direction, but that's not my specialty.
Okay,
Yeah.
but if you wouldn't mind doing
Sure,
something like
sure.
that, I would
Yeah.
greatly appreciate it.
My house is just 2 doors up
I
from me.
mean, we care about the house, you know, we want it to be, the
Yeah.
historic property.
I'd be happy to take a look at it for you.
You say you're just 2 doors away?
Yeah, we're working on the brick house 2 doors up to the right of yours.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yep. Eventually I'll get in there. So,
You know, I'm retired, or as I say, retarded anymore. So anytime you want to stop by, we'd
All right.
appreciate it.
Okay, I can do that.
And you're Peter.
Yes. Nice to meet you.
Here's
Greg,
your
right?
photographs.
Last name,
Oh,
John?
yeah.
Last name is John, first name I go by Greg.
Here's your photographs.
Oh, thank you.
Well, good luck. We'll see you soon on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, I appreciate your time very much.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Going back here to the beginning of the meeting, I didn't know if anybody wanted to have a discussion on CA 23-019 for 43 East Columbus anymore. If you wanted, if it was in the best interest of the applicant to wait, we could certainly do that. They indicated they were going to be able to make it tonight, so.
They were?
They said they were going to be able to, they just didn't have a chance to put any changes together. Their son's traveling baseball team has had them out of state, so they haven't had time to address anything yet, is what they told me beginning of last week. It's up to the commission if you guys want to table or
I'm fine
vote.
tabling, yeah.
I will say that if you guys table, then you will have to vote the next meeting, because you guys have to make a decision within 30 days of you tabling it. You can table it indefinitely at the applicant's request, but since they're not here this evening, unless for whatever reason it gets tabled again next month by them, you
So if
have
we
to vote.
table it, we make a decision next month, and the decision would be either approve what he's done, or we make recommendations, or we don't approve what he's done.
Yes, it would either be, everything's fine, you have to make certain changes like you did with the 23 Oak tonight, or it has to be 100% to what was originally approved back in 22, and then you vote. Now, you can each vote however you want, like if some of you feel like it is totally fine the way it is, you can vote your way accordingly. If some of you feel like it has to go back to 22's approval exactly, you can do that on your own, but someone will have to make a motion for something.
Dave, can I ask you a question? You presented this, they were out of town for whatever reason. Did they review those plans with you very well?
You know,
or-
Pete, I
Can't
probably
remember.
sent it to him, but that was back in, you know, I don't know.
I
can't
just
remember.
wonder, with them not being present, if they ever actually went back and read the meeting minutes to know
Last month's meeting minutes.
when we approved it.
May of
I wonder if
22.
they actually went back and looked at it, or if they just started throwing things together and decided to make changes. And they didn't do it for over a year. Ample time to come back and talk about it.
Well, I know they saw the
That's mine.
plans, and they didn't come back to me and say, we don't like it, but we're gonna do what we want. I mean, it wasn't anything like that.
Right.
They just
Okay.
had the plans, and I
I mean,
assumed
what you
they were gonna
presented
follow
was-
the plans.
Right, what you presented was what we.
And if
what
they
we
didn't
approved.
like it, they could have come back to me and said, let's talk about this, or come back here, and that never happened.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve CA, or table CA 23019.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
David Craycraft,
Abstain.
Dr. Scott Kelly,
Yes.
Pete Lynch,
Yes.
Roger White, yes, Whit Wardell.
Yes.
So Andrew, will you send them a notification letting them know that we will be making a decision next month, so they have to throw some ideas out there?
Yes, I can do that. I don't really have a whole lot in terms of other old, new business. Nothing I can think of on the top of my head.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
It is 8:26.
Roll call. David Craycraft,
Yes.
Pete Lynch,
Yes.
Roger White, yes, Whit Wardell,
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Did you second?